Brian, take a few questions. So whenever you're ready.
So we just finished up our first one. We had the 4 hours a week of skill instruction. Some of those have been full team practices. So we've gotten a little bit. So it's not like it used to be back in the day where it's the first time you get together at all. But it's the first time, we had the full-time slot. So thought it was good. Our guys went hard. I mean, we're kind of the first week of practice. You'd like to just establish your effort. We really tried to focus on some defensive stuff. Our defense has to improve a lot from last year. If we get it back to like it was in year 2, I think we got a chance to win a lot of games, compete for a championship. If it was like it last year, we're not going to compete for anything. So that's going to be our main focus these first couple of weeks. If we can get our defense established and get our effort established and get guys just play together, we'll have a great first 2 weeks. The offense will come. We've got some talented players. It's a big part of offense is your talent, being unselfish. So thought it was good today. Guys really competed. We literally just finished about less than 5 minutes ago. So I was happy with the effort. We, you get 6 weeks. We don't play a game for 6 weeks. So with 6 weeks, you get 30 practices. We like to go watch some NBA training camps. So we're actually not going to practice again until Thursday evening so that all the coaching staff can get out and watch some training camps and do some recruiting now. So practice one's a day, Thursday's 2, Friday will be 3. So we'll get 3 in here this week before Friday.
Obviously, it's pretty early to maybe assess leadership, but what kinds of things are you guys doing to make sure that you guys have a strong foundation of leadership heading into the season?
You know what? We're talking to guys, trying to get them to be more vocal, leadership. It's not going to be just one guy. Even when Herb was here, everybody talked about it being Herb's team, but we talked, the guys that were here when Herb was here, we asked them earlier this fall, like who else was leaders? Well, Bruner really stepped up and talked. And I think as much as Bruner talked coming in as a transfer, really kind of encouraged Herb to speak up more, even though Herb was a little bit, quieter kid. We've got some kids on the team that maybe are a little quieter that need to start to talk more. We've been on Sears to talk a little bit more. He's been playing well, shooting it well. He's got a couple of years of college experience under his belt. I thought he was much more vocal today. The other thing you got to do to lead is you got to bring it every day. So guys that want to talk but don't bring it every day, guys aren't going to listen to them as much. So if you want to be a leader on this team, like you got to show up every day with an effort. So, some veteran guys, Noah Gurley's been here. He brings it every day. We need him to speak up more, and he's been speaking up. Nimari Burnett's got some veteran leadership qualities to him, even though he hasn't played a game here. He's been here a year. He's a little bit older. Darius Miles is definitely vocal. We need him to be more consistent in practice, but I thought he was really good today. So, we've got that. Javon Quinterly's played the most games here of anybody, but he's not practicing yet. So it's a little bit harder to lead when you're not in practice, but we're encouraging him to be on the side. He's going through some rehab and doing some skill work on the side, but also encouraging him to be in practice. And then leadership's also got to be in the locker room, like outside of practice. The guys got to take younger guys under their wing, and they got to step up and talk to guys, and they've had good days, bad days, but we're going to continue to work with our guys, encourage them to be leaders. It's got to come from multiple guys, multiple sources, different guys, different days, but it needs to be a lot better than it was last year, to be honest with you.
You mentioned how this isn't y'all's first time together on the court. Have you seen carryover from what you guys are able to do in Europe?
Yeah, that's a good question. So we practiced during the summer. We had the 10 extra practices for the Europe trip, plus the 4 hours a week. We went to Europe, thought we had a good trip, played well, came back, gave them 2 weeks off. I didn't want to burn them out. I mean, we literally could have gone from the end of May through the end of the season just with the 4 hours a week, the 10 practices, the foreign trip. Then you can start practice first day of class. So we didn't do that. I want to make sure that we're fresh come February, March. We gave them 2 weeks off and then brought them back in, got to the 4 hours a week. We have seen some carryover. We're further along as a team offensively than you would be if you hadn't made the foreign trip and had all practices this summer. I think we're further along defensively. We had to put a defense in to play overseas. So I think the chemistry's there better. Guys have played together more. Like, I mean, if you watched our day one practice, it doesn't look like a typical day one practice. So like guys were already looking like they played with each other for a while because they have. So there is carryover from the foreign trip. There's a lot to learn from it, you know, especially the China game where they gave us a pretty good run. You know, we've got some kind of theme edit videos. We did video at 7:15 this morning for about a half hour before we practice. You know, we got some theme edits that we use some of the foreign trip games to kind of show like need to work on this and that. So it was beneficial, and there has been a lot of carryover, and I think it's going to help us, especially early in the year, being ready to play and without having, you know, there's only 3 guys on this team that have ever played a game for us that are practicing right now. Noah Gurley, Darius Miles, and Charles Bediaco. And then Quinterly obviously isn't practicing, but has played games. Nimari was here, but hasn't played in a game yet. So we've only got 3 guys practicing and played in a game, but the team looks like they've been together a lot longer than what maybe they have.
Yeah, you guys, you talked about JQ a little bit, but health wise, how are the other guys? There were some guys coming off surgeries in the summer. How's the overall health of this team?
Everybody went today. JQ's the only one that didn't practice. Everybody was full go. Nobody had to sell any drills. We're healthy. You know, you got the typical sprained ankle, pulled hamstring. What else we had? A banged up shoulder. I mean, you got just from the 4 hours a week workouts, but Clark's done a good job getting them ready to go. And, you know, even after today, they'll have tomorrow and Wednesday off. So we're going to try to make sure. I had a meeting with Nimari Burnett, our new strength coach, and Clark last week, just on making sure that we are getting the guys in shape, but not overdoing it with, you know, to avoid as many overuse injuries, and also just to avoid burnout, make sure that keep them fresh, sharp. So trying to follow data health wise too, not just analytics basketball wise. So they're good with that though.
Hey, how is Brandon Miller progressing? And have you had a true freshman that's maybe that ready for college ball in your time as a coach?
It's a good question. He's progressing well. He's talented. Maybe led us in scoring over in Europe. He's 6'9" guard that can pass, dribble, shoot. Got great poise. He's got to get a little stronger. Need to continue. He's put some decent weight on over the summer. Need to continue to put some weight on. You know, needs to continue to get better on defense. You know, he's going to continue to progress and get better. Have I had a freshman this ready to go? Trying to think who our better freshman here would have been. You know, obviously Kyra was freshman aged, but had played a year in college. So he's the same age. You know, Kyra was pretty good that first year we had, but technically he was a sophomore because he'd played probably not here, to be honest with you. We've had some decent freshmen, but I mean, he's talented. And then go back to Buffalo. I mean, I had some good freshmen, but you're not supposed to get the same level of players at Buffalo that you're able to get at Alabama. So we had some really good freshmen that put up some good numbers. CJ Massenberg, but he's playing over in Europe for a lot of money. Brandon should be playing in the NBA for a long time for a lot of money. So yeah, no, we probably haven't had it as talented a freshman as Brandon, but you know, hopefully we continue to get some. Recruiting's been going well, continue to go well. Hopefully he's, you know, but we've had some here for, you know, for our 3 years, but he's pretty good.
Hey, Coach, going back to that European trip, what did you learn about this team while you were over there? And what are some strengths you saw, maybe some weaknesses that you guys need to improve on?
Yeah, so I learned we've got a chance to be really good. We've got depth. We played harder on defense. Thought we were more connected, more guys pulling for each other. Unselfishness was pretty good. You know, Brandon can score the ball, but you know, he wasn't the only one that played really well. You know, I thought Nimari had a great trip over there. You know, Dom Welch started coming around, saw he's got some veteran qualities and some experience to him. You know, what we did well, I thought defensively we were a lot better over there. You know, we shot the ball better the first couple of games. I don't know if it was because it was the third game or just because we hadn't really been in the gym for a week by the time we played the third game, and our guys are guys that live in the gym all the time. So those guys need to shoot every day outside of practice to really stay on top of their shooting. But we didn't shoot it well against China, who by far and away was the best team we played, and we still won. We did taking care of business in the fourth quarter. We should have won by 20 plus. So we learned we can get wins without shooting the ball well, which is something we need to be able to do. Last year, we didn't have many games where we shot it poorly and still won a big game. We go 3 for 30 against Kentucky. We didn't have a chance to win. So hopefully this year, we shoot it a lot better, because I do think we have better shooting. But if we, have a game where we don't shoot well, we can still win the game by doing some other stuff. Our defense is great. Our offensive rebounding is great. We don't turn the ball over as much. You get more shots up. But, I think we learned that about them. What do we need to get better at? There's a lot of things. I think we need to make sure we don't turn the ball over. We've got to take care of the ball. We've got to continue to get better on defense. We were better than last year. We weren't better than the year before. Sorry, I'm silent. Yeah, we weren't as good as we were in year 2 on defense yet. We got a long ways to go to get there. So we're just going to continue to work on the defensive side of the ball and make sure that we're trying to progress to get back to be like top. We were 3rd in the country in defensive efficiency. We're going to try to be top 5. We certainly can't be 92nd or whatever we were last year. We got to be a lot better than that. So it's going to be a huge point of emphasis every single day, all year. Just how good can we be on defense? How connected can we be? Our depth is a lot better, so we can hold guys a lot more accountable to play defense. If you're not gonna guard, we're just not gonna play you. So we've got 12 scholarship guys. 11 of them are practicing right now with Quinterly out. I could play all 11 of them significant minutes. And if you're not going to guard, you're not going to play very many minutes. So that's what the message is going to be all year long this year.
What kind of relationship have you seen this offseason between JQ and Nimari? Maybe as two guys that have had, or Nimari had the ACL injury last year, JQ's going through it right now. Have they kind of been able to work with each other through that? So
yeah, I think Nimari going through it already has been good. And JQ, he had to sit the 1 year out. So at least he's not going to have to sit a whole year out. He's going to be able to play. Hopefully we can even get him ready to play before even SEC, close. Maybe we can get a couple games in there as well, a few games. So Nimari going through it and having to sit a whole year is, he's a great kid. And he's talkative, and, you see him in the training room. He still works with Clark all the time. He had a couple dunks in live 5-on-5 stuff today. You can tell his athleticism's getting back. He's getting more comfortable driving to the rim. That was one thing we saw this summer. You get it. Recovering from an ACL isn't just the physical part of it. It's their mental part of it, knowing that your knee can take what it used to be able to take. And I think you see it coming with Nimari, and him and JQ are in that training room a lot together. And our strength coach has been doing a lot with JQ as well, just to get him back. His body's looking a lot better. We're starting to get him in a lot better shape, but he still can't participate in practice yet. But I think it's good to have Nimari around. And, we've had other guys too. Rojas was here and up through the end of the spring semester, was there for JQ, and he was good. And had some other guys go through some injuries like that.
You mentioned that Brandon put some weight on because of that size and, with the weight gain. Do you see him maybe playing in a stretch 4 position in a smaller lineup?
Yeah, he can 6'9", shoot. We had Herb Jones here. He was our second tallest guy. He was kind of really our starting point guard if you watch the way we play. And we're not very traditional. So like the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 don't apply all that much to us. We'll have a 5. Charles is a 5, obviously, but our 2 through 4 are all pretty interchangeable. And a lot of times 1 through 4 is interchangeable. And then sometimes 1 through 5 is interchangeable. If you watch us play, the end of the LSU game and the SEC championship, Herb Jones was our tallest guy out there. So he was our starting point guard, and he was finishing the games as the 5 sometimes. I think Brandon Miller can be similar. He can play 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at 6'9". obviously we're not going to play him a ton at the 5 with the other guys we have with Bediako and Pringle and Hurley and Clowney, but he could at 6'9", and he's good enough to bring the ball up the floor and handle it at the 1, as well as Sears shoots it. You can certainly play Sears off the ball. He's going to play off the ball a decent amount. Jaden Bradley's going to play a lot of minutes with Sears when Quinterly gets back. Sears and Quinterly both shoot it really well. They can both pair up with Jaden Bradley at the 1, or shoot, you can even put Brandon at the 1 some. So I think you'll see Brandon kind of all over the floor. Could you play him at the stretch 4? Yeah, we'll do that plenty. We'll play him at the 1, 2, 3 plenty as well. So I think you'll just kind of see him everywhere on the floor. Thank you.